hair's it's gonna not work. Oh, messy hair. Oh, there are people here. Yay. I'm getting ready. We have another minute or so. Trying to get ready. And I've lost the feed twice already, so we'll see. We'll see how this works. Oh, where's that? And I'm sleepy. Tired. Not really sleepy, but tired. Oh, 9:31. I just coffee. I thought I could do it before you all came on. So I'm back and forth at the wood stove in the hot water. If you can see me, if you can't, okay. But there we go. Coffee made. We're gonna put the lid back on this and stir it. And good morning, you all in YouTube land, all the YouTubers that come and visit me on Sunday morning, whoever you are. I didn't have a subject specifically picked out for today. And yes, I probably will have a little signal issues, I don't know. But I have the phone in the best place in the studio. And I'm on a stool, and I wish I could tilt the phone a little bit and give you a better angle, but I don't see a way to do that without it falling from where it is. So, good morning. I didn't. When I don't feel good or I'm super tired, there's one instant coffee I'll do. And so I'm having instant coffee because it was easier with coconut milk. Good morning. Welcome to the third person. I did come on a little early and just was letting the camera run while I got ready. Well, now I've lost a couple of you, but hopefully we get a pretty good signal. I'm trying to sit as close as I can to the camera, which is actually sitting in a window, but it's the best signal spot so that I don't have to be outdoors this morning. Yes, my hair's in a messy whatever, sorry. I kind of woke up in that I don't really want to be awake mode this morning. I'm good. I'm not really tired. I just, it's a slow energy morning or something. So we didn't decide on a topic when we finished up last week. So this week, I think I'm just going to start off until I start getting some questions. I'm going to start off with we're getting prepared for a new month because today's not the first yet. The first is on Tuesday? Wait, this calendar right here. The first is on little calendar book. The first is on Tuesday. I was right. Yeah. So, a few things have happened. Welcome to the new people. Anybody that wants to say hi, hi Terry. Anybody who wants to come on and say good morning, say hi, and then maybe tell me where you're from. That would be kind of cool. So, what has happened this week? I guess I'm not the only one in the world who has a lot of things happen kind of quickly, sometimes in 1 week or in a couple of days. I had to send the puppy, which I don't know if his name is going to continue to be Bubba or not. Somebody said Buster. That would have been a good name for him. Buster would have been good. Anyways, he has gone back to live with his brother about 5 miles from here. I'm going to be able to see him. I get pictures. Hi, Judith from South Carolina. Welcome. And it was emotional that I had to make the decision. I was very allergic. I was having a very hard time with my stress levels. And good morning, sunshine from Los Angeles. That's Terry. Good morning, Terry from LA. So I had to make the hard decision to let him go, and the family had. Good morning, 3 generations. Yes, I am inside because it's cloudy outside and cool, and I didn't feel like sitting on the hill. 3 generations. Can you tell us where you're from? I forgot if you had said that before, but I'm having everybody say good morning and tell me where you're from. So Buddy, Buster, Bubba, whatever his name was, has gone to live with his brother about 5 miles away. And I'm going to get to see him. I get email messages and text messages with pictures of him often. And I had just spent, a bunch of money on puppy toys and new dog beds and stuff like that. But it's the family where the dog came from that he's living with. It's one of the girls. So I've had that happen. And then it was an emotional, Naples. Grandma Iris, okay, Naples, Florida, welcome. So I had that emotional decision to make, and I did call a rather good friend that I know both online and in person, and they helped me talk out the decision. Because it was a hard decision to make. I didn't want to let the puppy go, but I did. So, no puppy. So that was a couple of days of, trying to catch up on sleep and rest and where am I again and regrouping, and that brings me to the subject that I put out in the quick post this morning that I thought I'd talk about change some. which I will as we go on. So I shot a video this week for how I'm starting to think about car camping. I tried to upload, I think I filmed it on Tuesday. I tried Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to upload that video, and finally on Friday I set the phone where it is now in the window and just hit the button and didn't answer any phone calls and didn't use the phone for anything and just let it sit. It sat for 24 hours and then the video loaded. So some of you have seen that video. That's gonna be fun. Because I love fun creative projects anyways, but trying to figure out how to sleep in the new rig, because sleeping up off the ground and away from hairy scary animals like grizzly bears or mountain lions or something, or alligators if you're in Florida, like 2 of you are in Florida, I think. I've also, let's see, I've had annoying, I have notes in front of me. I have had annoying free-range cattle issues this week. Crazy annoying. Like, they walked all through the yard, even though I have partial fencing. They don't come inside the yard fence, the little white fence that I have, or the redwood fence, whatever. But they tore up other things. And I have a little entry area that's going to someday be a garden bed. I don't know what's going to go in it. And it has straw in it right now. It has railroad ties around it and a solar light, and it's kind of cute, right? And it has some straw. They evidently slept in the straw one night, but they moved all the railroad ties. They damaged the solar. I was able to fix that for now, but that's freaking annoying. So I had to change a couple of things. My gate is damaged, so I did a different style thing that will work temporarily. Welcome, who else is here? I see there's 5 people now. I've been working on my address change. Whoops, that probably makes a lot of noise for you guys. I went to move something. Been working on some address changing things because of having to move the road and the intersection and my driveway because of a neighbor not liking where, well, roads out here are made on the easements of properties, and the edge, a part of the road crossed the edge of a neighbor's property, and because of them not liking that, then the road had to be changed to easements. And so I had to move my driveway, and so I decided to fence at my easement line. Yeah, 3 generations. That comment you just made about being excited to see what I decide. I've made some little decisions already. I am not sleeping that close to the ceiling inside the tracker. There is no way, because I have to get up and use the bathroom too. I do my best with my diet so that I don't have to get up until, it's usually 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning is when I've got to go the first time. And so that's going to mean I have to get outside the car. So I have made the first decision that I am going to unbolt and remove the back seat. I didn't want to, but I'm gonna do it. It makes the most sense. And I did remeasure. There's some comments out on some of the video where Jean, I forgot where she's from. Texas. No, she's from Texas, but she lives in Alabama. She and I did a little texting yesterday. Okay, it was Sabbath. I didn't do my tech-free Sabbath like normal, but whatever. I'm not orthodox in my thoughts. So we texted a little bit yesterday, and she's had a lot of trackers. She thought that it wasn't going to be possible, but I remeasured my space. It's going to be possible. I'm just not quite sure all the details yet. So I have decided I will remove the back seat out of the tracker in order to make space so I can sleep on the inside. I will probably carry things so that I will be able to set up more of a camp. Yes, I will be able to, but it's bolts. So I will be able to reinstall the seat, but the seat has bolts that have to be taken in and out. I have to use wrenches. And so I probably will leave it out quite a while. But anyway, because, okay, that leads us to something I wasn't ready to talk about yet. But I have started my planning for the year's events, the known camping trips that I'm going to take. There'll be other things, but the three big ones that I know about already. So I'll announce those in a minute. Let's see, what else have I worked on? I've also been focusing a lot on my garden planning because it's kind of an inexpensive micro homestead. Straw is relatively inexpensive, $8 a bale or something like that. And the bales, I finally found out they're 80 pounds. I knew it was a little hard to lift one. So, I never was a lift 80 pounds kind of person, but whatever. So there's some of my garden beds and some of my compost piles already have some straw on them. We had somebody here in the county that did a Christmas giveaway of a bale of straw to one for each household that has outdoor pets. And so I took advantage of that and got one. And then I had a neighbor with a pickup truck help me, and I bought a couple more because I wanted to mulch some of my garden beds for the winter so that they'll be even better growing areas for the spring, summer. And then I wanted to improve my compost system. And so straw bales insulate your compost. To not get too hot, keep animals out, insulates the smells. And there's inexpensive ways to make raised garden beds with straw bales. And I will probably be doing more of that because, one, I don't want to work too hard. Keep it simple, right? I don't want to work too hard. I already have, now some people are funny about this, but I already have a humanure system working and working well. I already use my gray water that includes my urine to water some of my garden beds. And so that will continue, and it's healthy and good for, it helps condition the straw bales if you're doing some deep straw mulching. And so I will probably, what I would like to do, I don't know that I can afford it because budget's going to come up. Early in the month, budget comes up. But with the gardening things, I want to plant a bunch more stuff. I want to grow a lot more sweet potatoes and things like that. But I want everything as simple as I can so that I can still travel if I want to. So I have had my garden beds on soaker hoses and gone on 3-month trips before and not had any trouble with them at all. And now with the girls, meaning the cats, watching out for the animals and the rodents, I'll have less issue with rodents not around. And I have a couple of good neighbor friends that I'm sure would come by a couple of times if I asked them to, and just check on things, maybe run the water a little more if it needs it, and feed the cats. So let's see. So that's been on my mind, the gardening things. I would also like to grow some millet this year because I have found that millet gives me a gluten-free, I don't know if you call it a carb, but anyways, a gluten-free something that fills me up more so I'm not so hungry. And it's still high protein and it just regulates my health in a way that is noticeable in the bathroom as well as noticeable on everyday level. So millet, I'm going to step over to the kitchenette. Millet is a grass seed. And it's a grass seed that you will see if you buy bird seed, which sounds silly. So when I buy it, I put it into a half-gallon mason jar. This way there's no smells for any animals if I'm not home. So, I bought, the last one I bought a 25-pound bag. So millet is, I don't know how else to show you this. It's this little round seed. I don't think I could show you that way. Little tiny round seed. And you cook it like rice or like a porridge, or you can make it like a congee, a thin soup kind of thing. Or you can, I've never been successful at popping it like you can, evidently you can pop sorghum. I haven't been successful with either of those things. And I won't buy anything that's a flour. So I haven't been able to afford it yet. But I have it on my wish list to buy a small grain mill. And that way I could mill my own millet to make a flour so that I could experiment with things like flatbreads and stuff like that. But I just have enjoyed learning how to use this and how to cook it. And now I've kind of got it down to where there's actually some sitting on the wood stove behind me, which, by the way, I need to open that door. But I now basically can let the millet just be on the stove or be soaking overnight so I can cook it fast the next day. There's lovely millet ramen online, but it's very expensive. I bought one package to try it and I was like, oh, if I could afford that more, good Lord, that stuff's good. Millet in a dietary sense helps to regulate things like insulin resistance and stuff like that. And there should be a day, we need to figure out when, but there should be a day when I do some cooking things and show you some of those things because I practice a lot. I work a lot with alternative stoves because I'm kind of a stove geek. So let's see. So I did the video on starting the car camping thing. I've been focusing a lot on garden planning. The annoying cattle, I mentioned that. My address change stuff I'm still working with because I've got to soon, the county is now requiring that you have an occupancy permit in order to get, well, it's not the county, in order to get a post office box. That didn't used to be true. It used to be that if you lived on your property and you had a structure on your property, you could get a free post office box because we do not have postal delivery service similar to the people who live in Arizona in the Tucson area. And but somebody new came out here, and I want to call these people another one of those city-it people, but somebody new came out here and they decided that they were more special than everybody else and that they wanted home delivery even though they were very off grid. And so they not only argued, but they pulled some strings, and they went not only to Phoenix's post office people, but then they went to DC. And they tried to get it changed so that we would have home delivery. And instead, we now have to prove that we have an occupancy permit, which I do not have, and I do not want the county involved in my stuff at this point. So I'm not going to try to get an occupancy permit. And so that means I will now have to pay for my post office box. And when I was given my post office box years ago, yes, amaranth is beautiful and grows wonderfully in Arizona. I will have to pay for my post office box, but the one that I had been given years ago, they only had a big box, so it's more expensive. So this means I've got to change my address because I need to change the size of the box so I can afford it. And then I have a big decision to make. I think I am going to switch and stop using the post office box in St. John's, even though legally I can. Yes, now I'm going to have to pay for a box. But if I'm going to pay for it, I'm going to pay for one that's closer to home. So I'm going to pay for one in Sanders, which will then also change my address with all... So you know, when you change your address and you're on disability income, now I got to change it with all the government agencies. I'm going to have to change... Yeah, I got to change it with everybody. And the bank, it's a big process, an annoyance. Y'all understand. And to make my UPS FedEx deliveries even simpler for the companies, and because it's closer for me to drive to Sanders, and Sanders grocery stores actually have food in them, where St. John's does not. Their shelves are basically empty. It's closer. I'm just going to get my post office box in Sanders. So it's all a big addressing change. And it's going to cost me money. On that vein, so that was on there. I told you about the puppy going back to Miss Alicia's. And, and then somebody locally who sells at the farmer's market got a hold of a good friend of mine, Carrie, who bakes the baked goods at the farmer's market, and said that they had goat's milk for me because the other goat milk lady sold off her goats. And that's lovely. I'm not allergic to goat's milk. I do have to be careful. I don't want to have too much of it because I don't want to gain weight. But they didn't realize how much I used to buy. I used to buy a pint of goat's milk every 2 weeks. That was $3 every 2 weeks. Well, this person brought me a half gallon, and it's $6 a quart. This stuff's not cheap. And so on that note too, along with that and the budgeting things subject, I've just lost all the COVID EBT or food stamps that I had. And so I had a cost of living increase that was about $50. I still do not make $1,000. I'm still under $1,000 a month in my income. They took the $250 EBT away from me. They say that I only qualify for $20. So that's been a big hit to my budget. And it appears that most everybody who has had an unusual COVID amount for the last 2 years is probably going to lose that money depending on their income and their expenses. So I also had to reapply. It was time for that reapplication, so I submitted that. I don't know what's going to happen. I have a phone therapist that I'm able to just speak with, and when I had phone therapy this week, when I spoke with her, she was like, "Oh, well, that's a hit that's going to hurt you." I was like, "Yeah." She said, "Isn't there something we can do?" So she's thinking it over and going to talk it out in meetings at the therapy office. I don't think there's anything anybody's going to do. So those are the big subjects. I made it late. I didn't see who this was. Whoops. Oh, man. Come on. I'm trying to get of me. I don't think. There we go. Okay. I never even bothered with getting COVID food stamps. A lot of us just got it. Oh, hi, Jean. So, Jean, I already mentioned you once about the car and us chatting yesterday. A lot of people just automatically got their COVID food stamps. You didn't really have to apply for them, and I was so grateful for that extra. You figure that's an extra $2,400, $2,600 a year, and we had it for 2 years. That was a lot of extra boost to my income, and because I had it, it allowed me to do a lot of extra. This has led me to have to, rethink my budget, rethink my projects that were coming up. I was past tense, hoping that I was going to enclose the patio this summer. I don't think I can afford it. I was also thinking that I was going to rebuild, but start over with a new build of the bathroom structure outside. Now I'm thinking I'm going to use the materials I have and maybe just improve what's already there as cheap as I can. I'm going to be hunting for where are the free things people are getting rid of, what can I get from somebody and repurpose for something. That's the way this year's going to be, because that's, like I said, it's say about $2,500 that I've been used to for 2 years that had really made life nice. And when my income was like that and I had that amount of money to spend on groceries, then all that grocery money I used to spend, just went toward projects or whatever. And now, right, yes, 3 generations. So I get $20 now. And it's basically because I don't have the overhead that other people have. I don't have rent and I don't have regular utilities. But I did put in that I have the loan for the building materials for having built the studio. And so I put that in as my mortgage amount. And if they ask me about it, I have paperwork to prove what I did, but whatever. I don't know if they'll approve me for a little bit more. It would be nice because I do have a special diet. And back when we were talking old budget things and how did I live on $250 a month, my food budget when I was doing that was zero. It was food bank. And that's not a healthy choice for Lisa. And so I can't eat the food that they give people from the food bank. First off, I will weigh 300 pounds real quick, and I will start to be really sick, and then I will be paralyzed, which has happened twice. I've been paralyzed twice. I'm not being paralyzed for anybody anymore. So, I have to spend money on food. I have to spend good money on food because it keeps me healthy. So it's, this has been a change in my income. That's it. It's an owie, but I'll get through it. So change. Fortunately, with a lot of the COVID stuff, they gave some nice amount of unemployment and food stamps and other things. It was abruptly withdrawn. Yeah, exactly. And that's how this was for me. There was no warning. Had they said, hey, in 2 months, you're going to lose this, it would have been so much easier to maneuver. But what hurt so bad was I got the notice when I picked up my mail. Must have been Tuesday when I went to have the O2 sensor changed in the car. And so I got the notice on Tuesday, and then somebody brought me $12 worth of goat's milk and expects me to pay for it. And I just went, okay, I'm paying for it this time, but don't get used to this because I don't use as much milk. And so I gave the new neighbors down the road, I gave them 1 quart of it for them to try so they would see that there are people that have these things in the local area. But I can't continue that. So that'll be a conversation I have with those people. But it really kind of start to freak out again, like, oh God, I have no control over this. What am I going to do? You know. Also, you know, I did the temporary roof for the winter over the patio pergola, and it's a great tarp that really holds up in the weather, but it didn't fit as tight as I wanted it to. Partly I see that the person that helped me put it up when I realized it wasn't going to fit the direction I wanted it to, we already had it like 3/4 of the way up, and they were like, yeah, I don't want to do that. So we left it. And it's so freaking noisy in the wind. So I'm so sick of that. I almost got up at 2 o'clock in the morning the other day and just took it down. So yes, Judith, that's probably true. And it's so hard. Now, if she's on a fixed income, you know that she can get her Lifeline phone service as a cell phone. It's not perfect, but I use SafeLink, which is now owned by Verizon, but it's the track phone straight talk family. And so it works in very rural areas really well, and it's free. And if somebody is having a phone problem like that, I know that I know somebody on the East Coast with small children, and their husband's family decided that she doesn't deserve a phone anymore. They pay for her husband a phone and her daughter, who's 8, a phone, but they decided it wasn't okay to buy to provide her with a phone anymore. So she went and got the free phone for herself because she's not working right now. And so I would suggest if it's phone or food, buy food and get a government phone. At least you have some communication, and then use the library for, you know. For me, a library is a long ways away, and I have to plan the trip. But I think that way. There are things you can get for free that will help you if you're low income. So take advantage of all of those things, but take care of the priority things that you have to have. Like in my case, it's a priority that I have a good working car where I live. Yeah, I got through 3 months without a car, but it's a real priority to have a good working vehicle. So I do that, and then I participate in the things that are free and available to me. Like, you know, my insurance is taken care of by both the state, which in Arizona is called Access, and it's Medicaid is the federal program that's in all states, but each state may have its own name, and ours is called Access. And I also have Medicare, which I received when I first was put on disability in 2004. And so I participate in those things because they're good for me. I get the free phone because it's good for me. I will at some point pay for, I need to upgrade my cell phone itself, and I need to upgrade my service. And I'm going to have to pay and have a second service that will maybe Visible or something. I'm not sure, but that's something I've considered a lot. But it's not yet a priority to do that. I'd love to do it for you guys because it would make this work process much better. But it's an expense that's hard for me to do. You know, if I want to spend, I'm starting to think that the best route for me to go is to get a Samsung. Oh, Terry, that's hard. Having one that didn't pass smog. Yeah, see, I'm fortunate too that in my county I don't have to do smog tests. So, yeah, some of those things would be, the regulations on life are annoying. Let's see. So take advantage of the things that you can take advantage of that are healthy for you, and don't take advantage of the things like food banks that aren't. Spencer, yes, my tablet's a Samsung and my new Chromebook laptop is a Samsung. And so I'm thinking that I will, yeah, I'm thinking that I will try to get a Samsung phone, but I'll keep this free service that I've been using forever. And when I get ready, the Samsung phone, I'll try to get it maybe on Visible or one of those other services. But that means I'll have another monthly fee. And right now I have to figure out when that's going to be, because prior to losing the EBT food stamps, I was planning to do it now. And so now, no, because I have to change that. I'm also seriously considering getting the 12-quart, 12-volt refrigerator freezer that I have listed on my Amazon wish list. It used to be $145, then it was $165, and now I notice it's travel season, right? Now I notice it's $189. But because I've lost the food stamps, and because my cheat foods, people think it's funny, but yeah, good Teresa, I think that's good, Teresa. Yeah, I think, my cheat foods on my diet are, how silly is this? Canned corned beef hash and RX bars, blueberry RX bars in particular, and Epic bars, especially the Bison Epic bars. Those are my cheat foods. Most people are like, that's not a cheat food. It's not ice cream. It's not, whatever. Well, I'd like to make my cheat foods and my, oh, I'm so tired, I don't want to do anything today foods. I would like to make those easier and healthier. And I'm getting really sick of the cheap canned salmon that's in the 15-ounce cans, the regular big can. When I make something for me, I only need half a can. Well, the only way I can buy the half a can, blueberry RX bars. Yeah, they're the bomb. If I'm on a road trip, that's road trip breakfast. Whoops, I forgot what I was saying. Yep, totally forgot. Somebody remind me, what was I talking about? Salmon. Yeah, when I can get the Deming red salmon in the little short cans, which Walmart's used to have, but I haven't been in a Walmart in 4 months, 5 months, something like that. And there's so few items that I buy at a store like that anyways. There's none to be had, and it's expensive, and I'm not buying it off Amazon. It's crazy expensive on Amazon. So, but the cheap canned salmon, I'm just getting tired of it. It's, only so good. And, you know, it's such a big can that I have to give the cats half the can. And so I only open one a week if I'm gonna. And so the refrigerator, freezer. I really think that this is the time when I should buy that. I don't know how I'm going to afford it. So if anybody wants to help me with that, and I'm not e-begging, please understand. But if anybody's just wanting to help me anyways, and you feeling like it, help me and make sure that you send me a note that says to help with the fridge or the freezer. I have asked the therapist to put it on, there's a $1 a year fund, they can help us with stuff. I've asked her to put it on that and see if they'll help buy it for me. I don't know, but I know they'll help me buy boots and winter coats and things like that. But I've asked, so we'll see whether that could develop. The reason I'm thinking it's time for me to go ahead and get this is because it's an Alpacool. It can be either a fridge or a freezer. And I believe I would run it in freezer mode year round. And it would allow me to buy meat items on sale or in bulk, even small bulk, and have it more available to me so that I'm not eating so many $2 cans of corned beef hash, which has white potatoes, which are not good for somebody with an autoimmune. I should be doing sweet potatoes. But I think it would help. And every time I buy a piece of meat now, usually the smallest amount you can get is about a pound. And I have to eat it all. So I buy it, and within 3 days, I've got to eat it all. And then, you know, it's kind of a boring choice. So I'm thinking it might be time to do that. Yeah, it's been quite a hit to my budget thoughts. That's a good way of putting it. Quite a hit to my budget thoughts, losing the food stamps. And so I'm seriously considering just replacing the tarp that's on the patio with a more appropriate sized 90% Coolaroo shade tarp and having it more permanently installed in a better way so that the wind, but with it being a 90% shade tarp, the wind can go through it, and yes, water will drip through, but I've had snow melt run down the edge of the tarp and drip on the floor anyways. So I think that makes better sense for that space so that I can use it in more of the year because of weather. It'll cut down on the sound, which is driving me crazy, and has also affected my ability to know what's going on around me. Because if the wind's blowing real hard, I can't hear the hoof of the cattle being out here, so I don't run out and shoo them away. And then I think I will work on partial knee walls or something for the back patio this year, and at least shade cloth windows so that they're like some wind protection. You can still see through them. Those will probably be Harbor Freight tarps because you can see through them and they're cheap. The small ones are $25 a piece, and I think I could do that more cheaply, and it's not plastic, so if the wind hits it, it's not, making this horrible sound, and the wind can go through, but it buffers it so it's not so bad, and then I can use that space more. So that's what I'm thinking with those things. I'd like to get a few more bales of straw for the garden and get more garden planted. Does she address that? Did she address the blinking already? Oh, me. No, I did not address the blinking. I didn't see your name. I'm not going back for it. Yes, Harbor Freight's great for a number of things, but not everything at Harbor Freight is the best. But cost-wise, they're helpful. So the blinking, let me address the blinking. When I'm doing a live feed, you're seeing my cell phone and data signal. And so every time my cell phone signal goes low, which we jokingly out here say the wind blew, and so the signal went away for a second or whatever. My signal comes and goes. So where it's setting in the wind, you're actually sitting in a window on the east side of the studio right now, on one of those big windows. And in that location where the phone is sitting right now, most of the time I get 4 or 5 bars of signal right there. But off and on, when the wind blows, okay, and yes, I know that's a joke, people, but when the wind blows, the signal can go down to 2 bars, sometimes 1, and I'll lose it. So when you see a live feed and it's blinking, that's what you're seeing. And when you see the recorded live feeds are what we're doing right now is live, but later they're posted on YouTube as so that you can see them after the fact. Well, you're still seeing that same thing. But when you see a video that I filmed and posted, you don't get the blinks. So when I can film and I'm able to post them, but I said earlier, the one that got posted this week, I had it trying to upload for 3 days, and I finally left the phone plugged into my battery pack all night and let it run all night long, and it finally loaded. So, and Google Photos took over my phone. I don't know what's going on. Having a real hard time with Google Photos, taking my new stuff and replacing it with old stuff. And I have gotten a hold of Google, and they think I'm being, ridiculous, and I'm not. But anyways, I have an ongoing argument, but I'm gonna have to spend some hours probably at the library someday soon and just clean old files off Google Photos and Google Drive to make that more helpful to me again. And I'm okay with that, but boy, that's a bit of hassle. And trying to do all these things for free and not pay for things, y'all understand. But like I said, losing those COVID food stamps that I've been used to for 2 years, that's like $2,500 a year I just lost. Yeah. So I'll maneuver. So I was gonna, I think I even put it in the post announcing that I was doing a live again this morning. By the way, people, I love doing this Sunday 9:30 in the morning live feed. It just gives me something to look forward to, focuses me a little bit. Love it. Just need some more ideas for how to talk about things. Three Generations, you can get the comments. I forgot the exact steps, but when you're watching the live feeds again, the recorded ones, there's down where you can subscribe to the channel, there's a thing that says live chat, and if you click on it, it shows you everything everybody said. And somehow people are supposed to be able to send me cash as well while we're talking, but I don't know how that works yet. And because my free service, allows me to only hotspot 10 gigs a month. I can't use my tablet or my computer hardly at all. But when I can use the computer, I can change the thumbnail pictures that you see. But trying to do all the work on my phone, I can't change the thumbnails. So a couple of the last things I put out as videos, you're seeing my forehead, and you saw the floor in something else. I can't change them unless I get on the computer. Well, I can't get on the computer unless I go to town or I have hotspot left, but my service does not even show me how much when I ask for when I ask for my balance or my data information. It has a place for hotspot information, but they say 0 all the time. They don't show me so that I could monitor it, so that I could use it more carefully. Anyway, all that aside, and this past month I used it twice helping new neighbors find their property lines, and didn't even realize I was using all my data, all my hotspot. And so because we needed to use my tablet with the software I had loaded, and once I realized the second time, thank you, Janet, for understanding. Yeah, it's and you have RA, that's a thing. And me having an autoimmune. Oh, I believe I don't have my appointment yet, but I believe I'm going to have a doctor's appointment in April in Flagstaff that will allow me to perhaps have an actual diagnosis of my autoimmune. That would be wonderful. Just a diagnosis would be nice. I want to mention, I'm picking up my little booklet here. I want to mention the events that I am planning to either hold or be at for camping this year that I know about so far. And so one, I announced it recently in a couple of places. I need to go check and see that it was actually posted. But the Northeast Arizona Spring Get Together, GTG, that I have been doing since 2012 will be April 14th through the 23rd. The location will be announced. It will be in the general White Mountain, Arizona area. It will include a community dinner on the evening of the 15th, which for me personally is Passover. It will be lamb and unleavened bread. And on the 14th, if you know anything about the Abrahamic or Old Testament holy days, the 14th will be a special thing. If someone wants to be involved with that, you should let me know. You should get a hold of me. I've been doing spring get-togethers since 2012 in the general nomad community. Then the next thing that I'm planning to attend is the Overland Expo West, which will be in Flagstaff, May 20th through 23rd. And I haven't got it decided completely yet, but I'm either volunteering and or I am teaching, and I will be teaching something to do with fixed income and being disabled and still wanting to be adventurous, something of that nature. Then the next one will be the Northeast Arizona Fall Get Together, which will be October 15th to the 18th. The location again will be announced, and again I've been doing that one since 2012. That, for anybody who's interested, is correlated to coincide with the Feast of Tabernacles, which is the fall holy days. And Oh, thank you, Gina Riley. Yes, and I have the free way to send me a donation and help me out if someone wants to. Only if you want to. Um, I have paypal.me/SimplyLesa. That is the only free way to send me money. They will not take any money. If you go into PayPal and you hunt for my email address, they will take $4 from, I believe, both of us, which makes it $8. And if we don't have to pay them, why pay them? I mean, I'm grateful there. I'm grateful that PayPal is there, but PayPal Me is set up to give free donations. So paypal.me/SimplyLesa. Again, those 3 events that I know I'm going to want to camp at, are Northeast Arizona Spring Get Together, April 14th through the 23rd, White Mountains, Arizona area, Overland Expo West, May 20th to 23rd in Flagstaff, Arizona, and the Northeast Arizona Fall Get Together, October 15th through the 18th. Don't know where yet. If you want to come, you want to hang with me, you want to camp with me, these are great opportunities to do that. Pass the word around. If you need more info, we will see how I can get that out to you in some way that you could, share. How do I maneuver change? I learned a long, long time ago to just consider everything an adventure. If I wake up this morning and I didn't die last night, today's an adventure. Right? And if I did die last night, that ought to be even more of an adventure. Okay, I'm joking. Yes, I have the normal, momentary, even grief-related, oh, that's gonna hurt kind of stuff. But we do what we can. So you have those momentary, ow, that's gonna hurt, or oh, I wasn't expecting that. And then you sit for it a little while, let me rephrase that. I sit with it for a little while, and I don't sit still very long. Anybody who actually knows me, 15, 20 minutes, I'm out of the chair and hunting for something else to do. But then I just have to start going, okay, so how is this going to affect me? I start asking myself some little questions. How is this going to affect me? When have I felt this before? What did I do when I felt this before? What worked before? What didn't work before? What are my priorities again? Does any of this, how can I help any of this line up with my priorities? And then, how can I find the adventure in this? Oops, the car died, the last car died. I was like, oops, okay, now what am I going to do? Okay, well, I'm safe, I'm warm, take stock. It's not like the last time when I had to try to finagle a tent and rides. Okay, well, now I can be warm, I can be safe. Okay, so how can I go forward? Well, at some point I'm going to have to ask somebody if I can go to the grocery store. So when will I need to do that? And then how will I maneuver it? So for Gina, I think it is, Riley, one of my friends that had been talking to me when the Cherokee went this time was John from Frugal Off Grid, or Frugal Off Grid Arizona Homestead or something like that. And so I texted John, my car won't run and I don't need to go for groceries now, but if I get in a pickle, can you be one of the people that I can call or I can text? And he texted back, of course, yes. And then I texted 2 or 3 other friends that I know generally would help if you needed it. So, for example, in our area, they call him Cowboy Joe or Cowboy Jody. He's a good friend of mine. He's been very sick. He is improving, but he's building a horse ranch about 7 miles away. And so I texted him and his wife and said, if I get in a pickle, can I call on you? And he said, yeah, do you need to go tomorrow? I'm running to the store tomorrow. I went, I will get in the truck with you if you don't mind. Do you want me to walk out? And he was like, oh no, I'll come get you. I was like, oh, thank you so much. And like John, he not only said I could text him, but then he showed up a week later with a whole bunch of groceries for me. That was beyond the call of neighborly duty. But oh my goodness, was I grateful for that. He wasn't able to get a hold of me as early as he was leaving that morning. And so he just brought me a care package. And I didn't even, fumbled with how to say thank you. And so I found, a number of my friends were willing to, yes, if I'm going to town, I would be more than happy to help you out in this situation. And then one of them said, and I hope you do the same for me. Well, of course I do the same for you. I mean, I get it. So, but that's how you build those good neighborly relationships. You don't just show up and say, you have blah, blah, and I haven't seen you use that in a year, I want it. Or, oh, I'm buying this thing from you and you want X amount of money, but no, you didn't say that. You said some other lower amount. No, I didn't. Oh, no. And by the way, you're not giving me enough. I'm not getting enough on my money, so you better give me more. I've had that happen a number of times. That's not neighborly. But the neighborly thing to do is first communicate to your good neighbors that you might need help. Don't communicate, I have to go to the store today, or I have to take my trash that includes my poop to the dump today. No, you give them a heads up. Something has happened. I might need help. If you're able to, can I call on you? And then they've got a heads up. They can then include you in their thought process when they're going, hey, I've got to go to Springerville from where I live, right? Springerville is, I forget how many miles, 60 miles away or something like that. Show Low is 80 miles away, which is where like Walmarts are. And I've had people do this. I'm going to go to Springerville today. Do you need anything from down there? Or would you like to ride with me? And how wonderful is it that you've already notified them so that they can include you in their thought process. Then they can say that to you and you can say, well, I don't feel well enough to go today, but I have money. If you could pick me up, XYZ, it would make it easier. Or if you are feeling well, you can go, I'd love to go. Can I buy you lunch? But I'm only going to have this much money for lunch. So information is power. So give them the information early so they know that you're not taking them to a 5-star restaurant for lunch. You're not giving them $90 to take you to Show Low. I did have to do that once. That hurt too, because I ain't got that kind of money. I got a car that's cheap on gas for a reason, So I can't afford to fill your pickup truck with diesel fuel or with gas and fill it from empty because you offered to take me, 50 miles away or 100 miles away. I appreciate that you need gas, but can we make it a little more appropriate to the situation? Those are how you do you develop the neighborly relationships. And as they develop, people learn, I can trust this person this way and this way. I know this person to be this or that. And people over time get to know you and your characteristics and your personality, and they have a general, I know this one person to be an alcoholic. They are going to take every advantage of me that they can so that they can have more cash in their pocket so that they can buy more alcohol and act stupid. And in that case, I might not want to ever use them for something where I'm paying cash for it, because then they're useless to everybody. That's an example. I'm not saying anything specific about any one particular person, but it is how those things work. And so developing the relationships is the important part, not overusing the neighbors. And like Cowboy Jody, for example, for quite some time, he would take my trash to the dump for me because my car wasn't working and I was having some tin cans, build up, and I didn't have my process the way I like it, and which is very small. So now, if I'm taking a shopping bag, a little tiny, like Dollar General or Walmart or something, shopping bag to the gas station and putting it in the trash can, that's about all I have for a month now. But prior to that, I was having some larger bags, and I was like, I can't take them. I don't have a place. And you're the only person I know with a pickup truck that goes to the dump already. Would you remember me when you're doing a dump run? And can I throw a couple of bags on? I have $3 I can give you to do that, or I have $5 I can give you to do that. That's how you build good relationships, where people don't mind helping you when something happens. And again, you then know that you don't mind helping them in those situations either. So, okay, that was a rant on that. Because neighborly is important when you're off grid. It's important in the nomad community as well. And you will find, if you're a nomad wannabe or whatever, you will find that there are people that you click with and people you don't. And okay, for example, I'm going to have another small rant. I'll try to keep it small, short. But I'm allergic to marijuana. When I am in nomad situations or off-grid situations, there's a lot of people in the world that use marijuana. I don't fault them for that. It's a good medicine. It's, whatever. It's useful for a lot of things. I can't touch CBD, the whole thing. I'm allergic to it all. So, and I tried. Because back in the 70s, it was a thing and I wanted to be cool. And, I tried drinking and I can't drink. I didn't know that I had an autoimmune, that alcohol affects it greatly, because every time I have tried to drink alcohol, I have been in a nearly life and death from a very small amount of alcohol, alcohol poisoning situation. I think it has been 3 or 5 times in my life. I react so crazy to alcohol. So I can't drink. I have, for Passover dinner in the spring, at the spring get-together, I buy 1 small bottle of really good wine, and I have 1 wine glass. We pass it around and share, and I sip from that for Passover. It is a thing that I do, and I have done for years. I have tried. I wanted to be able to have a glass of wine in the afternoon. I can't freaking do it. I get so crazy sick. It's not worth it. And I now know that there is, I bet when I get my autoimmune diagnosis, I bet that it is related to one of the, I don't know how many hundreds of kinds of ataxia that there are. But I bet I have one of those, because those people cannot do anything with alcohol at all. So, But anyway, so if you've ever seen me trying to drink and you've seen me extremely ill right afterwards, just know that that is. Judith, that last question you just put out. Let me. I'm going to interrupt my thought about the alcohol and things and go to your question. If I spend the YouTube does not make us a lot of money. First off, I have had my channel since I don't remember exactly. I want to say it's 2005. 6, something like that. I just got my first check from Google AdSense. First check. They will not send you any money that is not $100. So I have never gotten paid up until then. I had never gotten paid. I have not gotten paid from YouTube. I made $8 in the last 3 months on YouTube. I'm not making any money. I also have an Amazon affiliate, but I don't make any money on the Amazon affiliate either, because I don't make any money. So it's not a very lucrative thing. Yes, I have nearly 5,000 subscribers. I probably should have more. People who have done interviews with me make more money than I do on the one video interview with me. They make way more money than I'll ever make, the way it looks. So I wish I could say it would just be an investment. I can't say that. I have gone back and forth. I own a Patreon account in my name, in the SimplyLesa brand. I have considered doing a Patreon, but I can't afford to even give somebody $1 of my income every single month. And I don't want to promote that people who are poor can't have the same things that people who have money have. So if I can't do it, why am I going to ask somebody else to do it? YouTube puts money in an account every month, however much I earn. If it ever hits $100, maybe they send me the check. I'm not sure whether it goes away after a month and then we start over, or if when it hits $100, they'll send me $100. I'm not sure. Google AdSense, it stays in the account until it hits $100, then they will send me a check. They sent me my first check. It was $108. I used it to buy the O2 sensor for the tracker. So I haven't done Patreon because I can't tell somebody that I can give them $1 a month, and I won't do it to somebody else. I want people to have the information for free. You know, God gave me the information for free in my lifetime, so why not just share it? So the only way that I can actually get money is if somebody sends me money using paypal.me/SimplyLesa. I will get however much money you send me, or you can contact me at simplylesa.gmail.com. I didn't say that right. simplylesa@gmail.com. Anyway, and we can discuss, or you can send me something from my wish list on Amazon. I did try to add an Amazon gift card onto my wish list, but it doesn't add the same as other items do. It's kind of weird. So I have had one of you, I don't think you're on here right now, but I'm not sure. But I have had one of you contact me in an email, and okay. One of you contacted me on an email and said, I would like to support you by sending you some money this month. I would like to know what is the best way that I could help you this month. Do you need grocery items? Do you need cash in PayPal? That was a lovely email and whatever. So we communicated a little bit. And that person actually bought me groceries that month. They helped me with some grocery items, was what they decided they wanted to do. And so that is a way to help. Or you can just buy me an item. If it's on Amazon, that can happen. If you don't see the item that you want to help me with in my wish list, feel free to send me an email and or a comment somewhere and say, would you please get a hold of me? This, and then communicate to me what you'd like to do. And if I need to add, a good friend of mine asked me the other day, I heard you talking about eating corned beef hash. I want to send you a case from Amazon, but it's not in your wish list. How can I do that? So I put it in the wish list, and 10 minutes later they bought it, and I was like, I can't believe they're doing that for me, but how cool. Thank you. That was useful. So I hate that I have to have help. I wish I didn't. And yet, I know I help other people, and I will. And I will continue to do what I do. If you're interested in coming to the get-togethers, either the spring one or the fall one, know that for me, they're holy days. But for you, they're not. Also know that if you're coming to camp with me, my camp, my rules. When you have your get-together, we do your rules. But if you're coming into my camp, we do my rules. Oh, I was talking about the marijuana thing. I'm allergic to marijuana. At most nomad things or off-grid get-togethers, there's so much weed smoking around the campfire, I can't be there. So when you come to my camp, you do your smoking of your weed in your rig or close to your rig. You do your own thing over there. But when we come together as a group, you do it my way. Please, no weed. I'm allergic. I want to be at the campfire with you. I want to visit with you. But I can't be near the smoke. And if all the other times I'm in a situation where I can't breathe, so it's twice a year that I let you come into my camp, unless you're a really close friend and there's a whole other thing. But, twice a year you could camp near me. If you come to the campfires at my get-togethers, there's no weed because I'm going to be there. And so y'all smoke your weed somewhere else and then come see us. But if it's too much, I'll let you know. And when you come to my get-togethers, you can drink alcohol, but you can't be drunk. I can't do drunk. And I believe God doesn't want us to be drunk. It's, too out of control. So I usually designate a couple of people at the get-togethers that are my, bouncers or whatever. And if somebody gets drunk, they get carted back to their own rig. If they can't handle themselves in their own rig, the next day they're asked to leave. But if they can handle themselves in their own rig, do what you need to inside your rig. But don't bring that stuff out because my camp, my rules. So you can have a drink, but don't get drunk. You can smoke weed in your own rig and join us at the campfire, but do not smoke weed out in public when you're at one of my events because I want to be there and I want to enjoy you guys too. And and as a non-weed smoker, that's a whole thing. It's sort of like people who are, who were alcoholics and are maybe 12-steppers or something, it's hard for them sometimes to be in certain situations. And but it's funny I find it with weed smokers that they tend to gravitate together, and they don't. Oh, nice, Terry. Um, I don't have a problem with this, but there's an us and them thing that seems to happen in communities that have weed smokers. And so people who I know that are weed smokers that are neighborly, we get along, but there seems to be a limit because I don't do what they do. And it's different. It's not, I don't find that with gun people. I don't find it with politics. That's another thing. Let's not talk politics at my get-togethers. Yeah, I know we're going to touch lightly, but let's stay away from big conversations. You know, you want to preach politics, go have your own camp. Call it a political jargon camp or something. I don't know. But I think you guys get my idea. And so there is this us and them thing with weed smokers that I don't like, because I accept weed smokers as friends. I don't have a problem with that. But I am allergic. I can't. And if you're doing it near me, I get sick, and that separates us. Because I then have to go hide or something. And so I don't want to hide. I want to. Yeah. So in a neighborly sense, there are those people even out here in an off-grid situation that there's the weed smoker group, and they're tighter than some other people. And then there, of course, you know, there's the religious groups and the whatever else. And I am not. Oh, good for you. I have a religious belief. I am a Sabbath keeper, and I keep the holy days. And I don't care if you do it or not. That's not up to me. What you do between you and what you believe is up to you. But let's be the best that we can be as human beings, and let's be the good we want to see in the world. And can't we all just get along? That's so stupid sounding, but so I invite anybody who feels called to be at any of my get-togethers that, yes, for me, they're set up specifically during the time that is spring holy days and fall holy days. And for me, that's important. But I don't care that you don't have a religious belief. And I don't care that you don't have a religious belief that matches mine, and you want to come have lamb dinner with me. That's fine with me. I don't have a problem with it. But would you please, respect what I've asked you during that. And for that one lamb dinner, we say a blessing. And I don't care if you're not religious. Just know I'm going to say a blessing is going to be said over the food. And I am going to make sure that the Creator is thanked for the year prior and us coming together. And aside from that, I'm not asking you to participate in anything. Just have some lamb and enjoy it. And that all the lamb that we cook has to be eaten or has to be burned when we get finished that night. And that's it. Boy, off on that one, huh? But my point being, anybody who knows me and who's been to a get-together, they all know that that's true for me. And I don't care that some other religion, because there's no religion or church or gathering of people like-minded that I know of. And so this is what I do so that I'm not by myself during a time when I feel like it's important to be with other people and do whatever and have this special dinner. So you all benefit, whatever. So if you like lamb, come on. And if you don't, I do make sure there's food for, I used to be a raw vegan. I think it was 7 years. and I used to teach at the Raw Health and Happiness Society in New York City. And so there's food for everybody. It's not a big problem. I try to have lamb. If I can get it, we do roasted asparagus, unleavened bread. It's not always store-bought in matzah. Often I make my own unleavened breads. And sometimes people want to come help with that. So the day before or the day of, they'll come and we'll just play with making unleavened bread that day. And I cook over fire and campfires because I'm allergic to propane. So I have alternative stove things. Love cooking on charcoal. When there's a lot going on, the charcoal is a simple way to do it. And it's inexpensive. I can afford it. And it's easy. But yeah. Okay. And wow, we've gone a long time today. This says we went an hour and 35 minutes. Do you guys have any more questions for today? Do we want to decide what we're going to talk about next week? Please, somebody type something. 12 of us, that's great. I think we had 15 people once. So this will grow. It's kind of fun. There's another person came in. I really enjoy doing this. So I hope this can continue. And it's much easier inside the studio where I can see the screen better. And I don't have the weather bothering me. Although I apologize for all the glitches in my signal that make the screen flash. So any comments about what you're thinking you might want me to talk about next time? Questions? But next Sunday we'll do this again, 9:30 Arizona time. I can only say it. I wish I were ready to leave the East Coast. Oh, Catherine, the East Coast, I haven't been back in a little while, but you know I grew up out east. I'm from southern Maine, and then Virginia, then New York City, then Costa Rica, and Nicaragua, love Nicaragua, and then Appalachian Trail. I've been homeless. I've been abused. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, the East Coast is a different place. I didn't even know. Oh, maybe someday you could, Catherine. Yeah, maybe someday you could. The East Coast, when I was there, before I ever, started traveling to Central America, I never really thought about leaving because everything's there. What are you going to leave for? And then I didn't understand the Southwest or, people from California. Okay. There's a whole thing about people from California. But no offense to anybody, but so my first experience with coming to the Southwest, I was rather surprised. I'm not interested in being in like the Pacific Northwest. I'd like to see it, but I really imagined that my breathing issues would be worse because it's so damp. And Catherine, it was 31 degrees inside this morning because I let the stove go out last night. It was 20 something. Watching you inside, what are the dimensions of my studio? Guessing bathroom, toilet, shower is separate. Yes, bathroom, toilet, is separate. Yes. That allows me to be legally unpermitted and unpermitted in Apache County, that my buildings are separate. This space is under 200 square feet. It's 144 square feet. It is 12 foot by 12 foot and 12 foot high, which it wasn't planned that way, but that's what happened. So 144 square feet. It has a 5 foot wide front porch and a 10-foot by 12-foot square patio with a pergola on the back. And I think to cut my costs down, I'm considering trying to do like a lodge steel Dutch oven table on the back patio, unless I just build a fireplace. But fireplace takes a lot more wood, and I just can't make up my mind, so it must not be time to do that yet. Because my little stove fireplace thing I built out back takes too much wood for me to use every day. I think that if I did a vent with a stovepipe stack out the ceiling, so that whatever I have on a steel table or a wood stove or whatever, I could use my little travel stoves on top of something, and then the heat and potential flame and everything could go out the vent hood. That's what I'm thinking right now for the patio, since I can't imagine being able to afford to enclose that in some way that would be more like glass windows or something, which would be hot anyways. So that's kind of what I'm thinking out there, to cut the costs down on that. Yeah, so as much as I have debated off and on so much about the whole Patreon account thing, because offering Patreon memberships, wouldn't that be nice? Catherine, you know what would be really nice? If I could do if I could find a Franklin fireplace, an old one, that I could put out on that patio, I think that would be perfect. And it would be cute too. My stovepipe and chimney situation is all Selkirk products. It's more expensive, but I love it. It works. And it really, once I understood it, it is a simple system. And so if somebody does need to come in the spring or early summer and needs to sweep my chimney, help me with that process, because I don't really know about getting up on the roof. My balance is a little off sometimes. It's the autoimmune. But to have somebody help me with that, they need the screwdriver for 1 screw, 2 screws, I think, to take the cap and the spark arrestor off, and then they can clean the chimney. So I like the simplicity once it was all put together. It was a pain in the ass to get that. Whoops. It was a pain in the butt to get that thing pulled together. And it seemed expensive to me. It was hard to afford. But it works wonderfully. My fires, the stove is larger than my space needs. And so I build rather smaller fires. So I work hard. I did buy Rutland soot destroyer. It's cheaper than creosote stuff, and it's the same stuff. And so I use that creosote treatment once a week religiously. Fridays. Most people don't want my home-baked goods because of how I make them. They're not, white, and there's no white flour and no sugar on my property. And so the things that I'm able to make, but I have a way to trade. I do a lot of bartering with people. So, there's a couple of guys I know that will come just if I make cowboy coffee. And so yeah, I can trade. Do you find that space comfortable for my needs? Yes. And Yes, Apache County and most places in the United States, most of their unpermitted laws for structure on a piece of land is 200 square feet or less. And it needs to not have plumbing and not have some other things. If you pay attention to the Whipples, Bushcraft Radical and Girl in the Woods, Bushcraft Radical, I can't think of his first name right now, but anyways, he just put out some information about how in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, he also chose to do an unpermitted cabin, and that he built it under or around 200 square feet, that it's legal to do that in most places in the United States. So what was the other? Do I find this adequate for me? Yes. Remember though, Bob Wells calls me an extreme minimalist. I'm pretty minimalist. So yes, I think this size is perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better thing. I love having the patio space out back, and with the ability to have to build small fire things out there so close makes it even more enjoyable. I think this is a great little setup. Yes. If I was going to start over, depending on the location, and now that I understand how much it cost me to do this and the whole process and everything else, if I was not worried about rats and rattlesnakes, which, yes, I have had to be concerned about that here, I would go the route of a yurt on a platform, or I would spend the money for a Pacific Dome with its insulating kit on a platform. I would do one of those two over this building. And yet, this is fine. Both yurts and Pacific Dome are alternative housing and temporary housing in most of the United States counties. Because I was a hammock camper and I loved to sleep in a hammock, it really solves all my back issues. I have lower back issues, and a hammock is much more kind to my back than sleeping on something stiff. But whatever, it doesn't matter. The Pacific Domes are an internal metal frame, and you can hang a hammock from them. And I would have loved to be sleeping in a hammock about now. And I would have gotten a pretty fringed hammock from like Nicaragua or somewhere, Central America somewhere. But I would have gone that route. Absolutely. Yeah, Terry, I think Apache County is good for this. The county keeps trying off and on to say, well, we don't want this, we want you to do these permits, and we want you to, okay, well, keep going, but there's such a big community of us off-gridders, and an even larger community of disabled veterans. And the veterans associations are not going to allow Apache County to harm by enacting new laws that will prevent disabled veterans from having an affordable way to live near services. And so I think we're more secure here than we think we are, because we have that big Dave Whipple. I couldn't think of his wife. Yeah. Is a hammock not possible in my studio? I I had bought really good stainless steel hammock hanging kit, right? A thousand pound test weight or whatever. But but the amount of footage length to hang a hammock is pretty long, and so I would have to go diagonally from here to there, or it wouldn't go straight across. I'd need a little more. I'd need another foot or so. It would be an awkward hang. So I'm not choosing to, even though it was the intention to do that. I'm not choosing to at this point in time. And I had my friend Tom who used to live in Alaska. I had him build me a frame, which is I have my 3-inch camp mat on that, and I sleep on that right now. I could more easily hang the hammock out on the patio. On the patio or under the pergola. I could much easier put it out there. Just don't know. Don't know. But if I was starting over in a different location, I would save the money for a platform, and I would do either the Pacific Dome, or I would do, yes, there are hammock frames, but they are large, or they're too small. I'm not the smallest person in the world. I was 5'8". I'm now only 5'6". But and I weigh, 100. I fluctuate between 180 and 210 pounds, something like that. So some of those frames for hammocks inside are just too large for my space, and I have to consider how close anything would get to my wood stove. And so for now, I'm doing what I'm doing, as much as I love my hammock. That's another reason why I would love to have a McLean hammock stand for my tracker. And I would really love to have the accessory that allows it to be hung on the side tire. I don't know if that will happen. I've met the McLeans, the husband and wife that own the company. I don't know if they would do a partial sponsorship thing with me so that I could have one. I don't know. But I would love, when I want to set up a camp, to be hanging in my, to sleep in the hammock outside as one of my options. I would just love that. Plus, it would give me a couch for when people come to visit. I don't know, but we'll see, because a McLean hammock stand, the one I like, is like $500 or something, but I don't know. I don't know what's possible there, but I'm just throwing that out. I did get my Overland Bound membership a year ago for the Cherokee. I have my brass emblem. I will be mounting this on the tracker. Yes, I am member number 28227. I will be mounting this on the tracker. And I am planning to get another membership this year that's going to cost me money. If I could offer something like this, as useful as this, I would offer it, but I can't come up with any way that I could do such a wonderful thing. I love the company. It's kind of a cottage company called called Outdoor Vitals. They promote living ultralight. They promote having good travel and hiking gear. I own one of their older style quilts, 0 degree loft tech quilts. Love it, sleep with it every night, have for 3 or 4 years now. It's the green one you see in the video interviews in some of the different vans of that, or vehicles of that. So they have a membership for $10 a month. all the $10 a month that you pay in for their membership goes toward or into an account that allows you to buy the full amount's worth of gear that they offer in their online store that is not available to non-members, which includes foods, stoves, pots, clothes, tents, whatever they're able to put in there, water treatment, water filters, things of that nature. Since I occasionally need a new shirt or a new sleeping bag or a new pair of socks or whatever, I am going to join their membership. I think it's worth it to me. I have wanted to since they started it. I've been following them since the beginning. I didn't feel that I could in the beginning, but now I see it as a continuation of my traveling light and often, and that I'm going to use the items whether I buy them from them or I buy them from Amazon, and I would rather help support them. So I am going to get that membership soon, but I don't know what that means. Soon for me sometimes is a few weeks and sometimes it's a couple of months, but soon. Pretty happy with things the way they are right now. I've got to do some more cleanup in the yard. Shift to minimalism. Okay, I did. Right. With a few quality products rather than so much economy stuff. You know, when I was a kid, I wasn't a minimalist. I was messy, and underneath my bed was a disaster. And then in the back of the closet that my sister Kathy and I shared, it was a disaster. And then somewhere along the way, well, I had some events happen, to be honest. I had an ex-husband who took all my art supplies and threw them in a wood stove because I was drawing too much. I had I've had a lot of my stuff taken away from me a number of times. And so it just started to change my mindset. And then when I was homeless and living in New York City, the amount of, you got to hang on to it and protect it from the person who's sitting beside you on the train or whatever, right, on the subway trains. And then when I finally got into my apartment in New York City, one of my neighbors passed away, and we were an 80-20 building, which meant 80% of the population worked and 20% of us were on some kind of services or Section 8. And I was on Section 8. And my direct neighbor, I knew she died. I knew something happened to her. I told the security guards. They told me I was making it up. I was in there. They weren't supposed to know why I was in there or what my disability was. But anyways. Oh, you know, I never had the love of a husband. I never had that in my life. So I can only imagine. It would be something nice. I'm not dead yet, so maybe there's still hope. But anyway, so when this neighbor passed away, and there's a whole story. It was not pretty. I saw what happened to her and her stuff. I was there at the door when they opened the door and went, "Oh my God, Lisa, we should have listened to you." Oh shit! And then you see the body and the flies and the whatever. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I was there when the cops showed up, and the cops said, "Now, you tell the cleaning people to go through this carefully. There's jewelry and there's money here. They need to take it." And then I saw the cleaning company come in and tell them to shovel everything in the bags. And I saw cash going into trash bags and being put in the dumpster. I don't know what you mean by that bot comment. Could you maybe talk to me about it later or send me an email or something? I don't understand. But we, so I watched the process of this woman dying and what happened to her things. That's when I said, that's it, I'm done. If I want somebody to have something I've got, they're getting it now while I'm alive, because I'm not going out. I'm like her. I don't have contact with my family, and there's not really anybody to back me up. Not really any, I love this person relationships or anything. And so I'm not going out like that. That's when I became a minimalist. And if you want to call it extreme, okay, go for it. Because I found that there's so much freedom in not owning anything. So as I go at working with the tracker, I think of the tracker as my backpack to help me get around the world. So I don't need more than I can carry. And if something, God forbid, but if something happened to the car and I have to walk, I need to be able to take the important things with me or be willing to leave them behind. So yeah, minimalism, there's a mindset. And so I did some research, I did some study, and I was looking at stoicism and things of that nature, and the spiritual sides of things. And I was, really thinking the whole process over as I went through that time. Yes, Terry, and yes, it's too bad they didn't. And it's too bad that when the police were finally called and did come, by that time I'd already been throwing up for about 3 days from the smell. And then the apartment building hid me so that the police said that they wanted to talk to me. They told me directly. And then the owners of the building took me across the street to have a conversation with me. And we didn't leave the across the street hotel until after the police left. They hid me so that I couldn't talk to the police. And I think that was beyond not okay. And so I did start planning at that point that I needed to leave that building, and I did eventually. So, yeah, so my ideas about minimalism, take what you need and leave the rest, right? And what do we truly need? What really does work for us? I've rewatched my video interviews with other people off and on. I rewatch them to remind myself where I came from or what I was thinking. And it was like, yeah, why was that so important for me to have that mirror and that thing? Or why was it so important for me well, I was feeling like I didn't have any stability. I didn't have any home. And, Catherine, I understand that completely. But please, if you're willing to let me advise you as you go through it, I would be more than happy to give you some advice along the way, because it's going to be a hard process. It's not cheaper to live in a van. It can be more expensive. And you'll have more choice, but more choice within the parameters of what life is you're setting up. So let's make sure that you're, I don't know why I'm saying it that way, but I am, but let's make sure that you're doing what's best for you in a way that's best for you. Because people in the van dwelling community, agencies in the van dwelling community, different people have different priorities, and their priorities are not always you. They might even think that their priority is you, but it might not be. They don't always have your best interest at heart. They're often really doing what's best for them, even if it's not known to them that that's true. So, I have helped other people to make quite a bit of money and to help their causes. They have taken ideas that came out of me and have made money off of those ideas, hand over fist, and they're being patted on the back for that. So I just want you to know that there are ways to do this very inexpensively and you won't get hurt. But you need to be prepared for the more than you're expecting. And I, having lived in Central America as an expat, I know that that experience did help me to, and also the hiking as a long distance hiker on the Appalachian Trail. That trip also prepared me for what has happened. So, yeah, the selling of van life, yeah. Yeah, seriously. And the stories that are out there in movies and things, they are not the everybody stories. They're one person's story. And there's lots of stories out here. And there are lots of people like me who became disabled, couldn't work. Yeah, I've lost that too. I've lost just about everything too. And how much worse can it get? It can't. But you need to be prepared. There's the whole thing of where am I sleeping tonight? Oh, I've been driving in the same circle for how many years? It's just a different set of, your box changes. So now your box is not the apartment box. Now your box is the, I'm going to be in Quartzsite in the winter. I'm going to go to Pahrump in the fall. I'm going to be in the, whatever. Your Pahrump is the new parameters you've given yourself. Or your new prison, right? You just build a new prison unless you can bust your brain out of that idea and give yourself a new adventure. And I think that's what I've tried for so much. And I've had help. Thank you, Stephen Ballet. Thank you, Jody and Rebecca. Thank you. All the people. Thank you so much. There's so many people. I don't even, thank you, the no name Bob. Thank you. All you people that, there's an Elizabeth that has sent me money a couple of times. Thank you, all of you, for providing ways for me to grow as a person. And okay, so the other night, I don't know if you know what dry brushing is, which is a way of bathing by taking you brush yourself as if you were a horse to take the dead skin off. Anyways, yeah, that's a good point, Catherine. Disboot from your, yes. That sitting in a little apartment waiting to die sucks. I didn't put up with that for very long. And I was like, oh no, I can see where this is headed. No, I don't want this life. I gotta do something different. And so I did. So, I don't know, but thank you, all of you. Well, we're at 2 hours. I think I'm gonna say goodbye and go. Nobody will want to rewatch this. Yeah, I love dry brushing. I've been wanting to do it forever. I bought the brush last summer. I've used it twice. The other night, I was able to use it and I went, finally, I can do one of the things I've been trying to do for about 10 years. Thank you, God. I'm so happy. I'm so content. I'm so okay. I can finally do this. What a blessing to be in that space. I'm going to let you go. Wow, there's even 14 people on here. But yeah, I'm tired. It's been 2 hours. So coffee was not enough. I need to go fix some actual food. What am I don't even know what I'm having to eat today. Yes, when it's hard to think sometimes when you can't feel safe. And even coming out on the road, there will be parts of not feeling safe. So, yeah, we'll talk more. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Send me ideas on what you want to talk about next week. Obviously, I can keep going sometimes. Keep it simple. Travel light and often. Use what you already have because that helps with the whole minimalist and budget thing, of course. And I'll see you out there.